Okay, now it's time to talk about my all-time favorite show, Doctor Who. I got my town puppy here with me. I've had that guy since the 80s, so since I was very young. I had to take a little break. Took a few days to write down all these notes. So Doctor Who was a part of my early childhood back in the 1980s. I I'm guessing probably the first time I saw Doctor Who was, don't know the exact year, so probably the mid to late 80s. Doctor Who is a very entertaining show. It's entertaining and it's lasting. It's still on today, and even if it wasn't still uh, producing new shows, there's still a large fan base for the older episodes of Doctor Who. And that is due to, I agree with this, and I've heard others express this opinion as to why Doctor Who has lasted this long, is due to the regeneration concept of changing the Doctor after a few years, averaging a few years, just being able to just change the Doctor, the main character, and uh, revamp it, revitalize the show uh, so it can evolve through the years. And the other reason that the show has lasted, uh, that people still enjoy it, is the concept of being able to have adventures and traveling through time and space. So just thinking of that as an audience member, to be able to do that, to put yourself in the show, if you were one of the companions, to be able to just get in the TARDIS and to be able to go anywhere in time, forward or back, or to travel anywhere in space is a very exciting um, and kind of limitless possibility of things you can do with the show, the stories in the show. So that's why it's a very powerful show that you can do so much with it. and well, good acting too. And the theme song is another big reason. I love the theme song for Doctor Who. It's been pretty much the same through the whole uh, evolution of the show through the years. They've changed it a little bit here and there, a little bit, but it's been basically the same since the beginning, and I love it. It's so original, and it just really gets you excited for the episodes, and the not only the music of the theme song, but the uh, something else that's changed through the years more so than the song is the introduction, the credits, uh, is very exciting. I think it's very creative. Uh, back in the early days of Doctor Who, they would often show the face of who's playing the Doctor, but also the credits when they were playing when they played the theme song, when they have the tunnel effect. They didn't always have the tunnel effect, but that's my favorite beginning of the episodes. Seeing the tunnel effect on Doctor Who, I really like that. Okay, so when I first saw Doctor Who, it was in the early 80s, early to mid, or not early, mid to late 80s. It was during the 80s, at least, on TV. Now, I'm not sure on the channel. I'm guessing it was either on PBS, Public Broadcasting Station, or Sci-Fi, Science Fiction Channel. Uh, maybe maybe Sci-Fi. I'm not sure when Sci-Fi started. Uh, but we had, I remember we had, when we lived in Wisconsin, we had cable. But then when we moved out in the country, because we originally I grew up in town in Minnesota town, and then my family we moved to when I was a little kid we moved to I originally lived in Minnesota, town in Minnesota, and then we moved to Wisconsin. Okay, from Minnesota to Wisconsin, Minnesota to Wisconsin. So we moved out in the country in Wisconsin. So we went from having cable in Minnesota to not having cable in Wisconsin. So we just had local channels, not a whole bunch of cable channels. So it was at that point that Doctor Who wasn't available anymore. So maybe it was on Sci-Fi, not PBS, because PBS was one of the channels that were free when you just had the local channels and not cable. So this was before some law was made with the government, apparently, where you are required to have cable. You can't have just free local channels. So that was kind of annoying, just to be told that you have to pay for cable when a lot of things on cable are just crap. I don't have cable now. I don't have a TV at all. If I didn't have if I was able to, I would at least have local channels. But yeah, I don't want that extra bill, since a lot of stuff on cable is crap. Anyway, So I guess yeah, Doctor Who must have been on Sci-Fi probably, since I wasn't able to watch it anymore in. As far as I know, I didn't see it on. Uh, I didn't notice it on PBS. Maybe it was on, and I didn't know when it was on. Or maybe it was on temporarily, like just not regularly. But I'll talk about that later because that's interesting to think about. Uh, so Tom Baker, this guy, the charismatic, smiley, curly-headed, tall, uh, scarf-wearing, hat-wearing doctor, Tom Baker. So he was the first one that I was aware of. When I was introduced to Doctor Who, it was Tom Baker. Tom Baker was the doctor for me. But so it says on here. It says on here that Tom Baker years 1974 to 1981. So he was the longest to play the part. 7 years. So when I saw Tom Baker, I was seeing reruns since he stopped in 1981. And then Peter Davison took over. So when I was watching Doctor Who, they were old episodes. But I do remember vaguely Peter Davison. Vaguely. So I might have seen a little bit of Peter Davison, but I mainly remember having this nostalgia for Tom Baker. And I think I might have seen the companions Adric and Turlo. And I guess I must have seen a little bit of Sarah also.